The English County Championship Round 2 is in the books, as well as the first 6 games of the Royal London White Ball competition. And today we're going to break down exactly what has gone on and which former England opener is making a big play to be the opener for the Ashes. I'm Rob, one half of Leading Edge Cricket, joined by the co-host of the show, Rich.
Evening, Robert. How we doing?
Yes, very fine morning here, Richard. Very fine morning. It is Good Friday.
Oh, is it now? Well, it's not. It's pretty ordinary Thursday here at the moment still, so I'm glad it's good for you, buddy. Enjoy those eggs.
Thank you very much. I will do. In fact, the wife's not bought me an egg yet, so there's an argument you've just installed after this podcast.
Wow.
I know.
Not real love.
You know what's happening, mate? You get married and then all of a sudden just things peter out and you don't get Easter eggs on Good Friday anymore. It's a disaster.
Dude, you can't be saying these things. What's going on?
She might listen. She might get the point. You never know, one of the two.
Oh dear, I'm going to stuff myself silly. I don't care.
Well, at least you've got something good to look forward to, Richard. Good Friday will be good for you, I'm sure. And today we've got County Championship, Division 1, Division 2, Royal London, and a little bit of chitter-chatter about the World Cup squads as well. But I think we should start off right at the top. County Championship Division 1, the big cheeses of the English game.
Big cheesy. Indeed. It's a bizarre, wasn't it? We've had 2 rounds of County Championship and now it has been put on the shelf, locked away safely for the next month while the Royal London competition is played.
Crazy scheduling.
Odd summer so far. And summer's not even here and it's odd already. But yeah, it's been an interesting start to the campaign, hasn't it, really, for all the counties teams. Somerset, we're going to start with Somerset. We're not starting with Nottinghamshire, but it is Somerset against Nottinghamshire at Trent Bridge is the game we're starting with. Somerset won 2, Rob, played 2. Innings victory over Notts. An innings and 14 runs to be absolutely precise. Really disappointing performance this from Nottinghamshire. 58 from Chris Nash in the first innings, Tom Wadsworth at 47. But Lewis Gregory, leading wicket taker in the County Championship Division 1 so far with 14 wickets. That's an average of 10.35. That sounds like the best club cricket trundler average, doesn't it? 10.35. Doesn't sound like a county cricketer. But he did the damage in that one, 263 all out. In response, Somerset, 403 all out. Tom Abel, the captain, really stepping up 101. And a career high for George Bartlett, 133. Lewis Gregory as well, 50 on that one. So really, really strong performance. They're not just capitulated in the second innings. 4 wickets for Jack Brooks, 6 wickets for Joe Leach. Jack Leach, Joe Leach, that's the Worcestershire fella, isn't it? So Jack Leach, his first bowl of the summer. He didn't play in the first game, Rob, didn't get the ball in the first innings, and then he takes 6 for 36. England watch, we're all aware of what he's doing. He's put a marker down straight away and just spun Nottinghamshire away. Talking of England watch as well, Ben Duckett and Joe Clark hardly scored a run between them in 2 innings. But we did see Stuart Broad take a few wickets in this game. So he's looking in pretty good nick. So he's got 8 wickets so far this season at about 18, and he's at 5 for 73 in the solo Somerset innings. So really, really impressive performance from Somerset, but a very disappointing one for Notts.
You wouldn't have expected it as well because Notts were so strong last week. The top of the order looked superb. Joe Clark went out there, scored 197. Slater and Duckett were, you just couldn't roll them over past 50 being on the scoreboard, and they looked great. But this Somerset team, we said at the start of the season, was a good Somerset team. We spoke about it offline. 2 times back-to-back runner-up in the County Championship. Can they go one better? Well, if you're looking at what they've done at the start of this season, you've got to be nodding your head going, yeah, they do. Gregory's bowling out of his skin. He's taking on the Matt Henry from Kent role of last year of just getting 10 wickets every single time he turns up and playing superbly. They've got Overton. They've got the other Overton brother to come in as well. And they've got Jack Leach as a spinner who probably is the best genuine spinner in the country.
Yeah, I think you'd probably have to say that at the moment, wouldn't you? Certainly the man in form when he's taking 6 for 36 for the first time he puts a ball in his hand in real competition. So he's definitely got to put himself in that position, hasn't he, where it's so early. Let's not get carried away, but he's definitely done as much as he possibly could at this very, very early stage for what we're going to be looking at after the World Cup, which is a bit like talking about New Year when you've not had Christmas yet. you don't want to look past Christmas, do you? It's like, no, there is no day until Christmas has been here, and then we'll think about something else. So, well, that's just me anyway. But yeah, he's bowled well. 4 runs apiece, 4 runs apiece even I must be getting peckish after a bit of fruit there. For Ben Duckett and Joe Clark, that's all we saw in this game.
Wow.
Joe Clark in the first game, Rob, he scored 209 runs in the game, and it's 4 in this one. So
that's cricket, mate. That's cricket.
That is cricket.
He got a corker as well from Leach in the second innings. He really did. Beautiful bowling for a spinner to take 6 in April in England. It's almost unheard of.
Yeah, Leach was saying that, he was talking about how much you want to contribute. And he said in the first couple of days he didn't really feel like he had, so he was desperate to contribute where he could. But obviously Seamer's bowled brilliantly. It was nice to get a spell under my belt, and things began to happen very quickly after that. Yes, they did. Notts, obviously, on the other hand, Peter Moore's not particularly impressed. Bowlers, batters, everyone has to look at areas where we can be better. Still early in the season, but lots of lessons to learn from this when we come back to Championship cricket.
Here's a question for you, Rich. Jack Leach.
Go on.
If he could average 25 with the bat, like Moeen Ali, would he be the first choice spinner in the England team? It's got to be yes. 20 wickets at an average of 24, mate, in international cricket.
Yeah, this is the thing, though, isn't it? If you can bat a little bit, or if you're a good fielder or something, you've got to do something else, haven't you, to really get the attention and the eye of the England selectors, it seems. Maybe Jack Leach needs to go and do a few reverse hits in the one-day cricket arena, and that will solidify his place as the number 1 spinner.
He's number 1 in my heart. That's all that matters.
Oh, bless him in his little glasses. So moving across to this was a nice matchup. Surrey against Essex, Rob. We had last season's championship winners playing the winners from the previous year, Essex, and this was a drawn match. But it was a good competition, and it was good to see some players come into form as well. Ryan Patel, not a name we've heard much about. He got 100 not out in Surrey's first innings, and Will Jacks, he of 25-ball century fame, got himself 88 as well. So a little bit under par, but 395 still for Surrey. 6 wickets for Peter Siddle and 3 for Harmer. Essex first innings, Alistair Cook, come on, dude. Come on. 11 runs. We want more from you. We expect hundreds every game, but Tender Scarter, the captain, 130 for him. So it's nice to see a lot of centuries so early in the season, isn't it?
Mm. Is it particularly dry in England? Have you not had a very wet kind of, oh, look, everything's underwater, it must be cricket season?
It probably hasn't been, actually. I don't know what the comparisons are, but it probably hasn't been that bad. It's been steady. It's been cold, pretty chilly, but it hasn't been the wettest or, we're not getting the county trundler sort of pitches so far. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, I mean, it was a weird little game here. 324 for 6 declared, second innings for Surrey, and England watch again. Rory Burns, 98. Obviously didn't want to get himself too many headlines, so he kept himself to double figures. And Will Jackson over 54. Ollie Pope as well, 69, a name that maybe will get a little bit of a mention as we get to the back end of the summer. Brilliant, though, for this. Essex second innings, their target of 272, 1 over was bowled. Rory Burns bowled it, a maiden, and it was Jamie Porter, the Essex bowler, decided battered out a maiden. That's what county cricket is all about for me at this time of the year.
Oh, excellent stuff. It's a tale of 2 heavyweight contests, this, isn't it? And it's always good to talk about England Watch, but before I talk about England Watch, I want to talk about 2 things. One, Peter Siddle getting 6 wickets, useful, still got it, probably be in the Ashes team. Also, Will Jacks, the man that smashed that 5-ball century the other week, got off the mark in county championship by putting the ball into the stands.
Is that right? He's some kid, isn't he?
Oh, he's got grapefruits, that lad. Just goes about his game, knows it inside out. And you know what? He's right. If that's the way you play, there's no point scratching around for 5 or 6. You might as well get 6 and get out second or third ball. But he went on, made 88. Ryan Patel's an interesting one, the lad that got 100, Rich. Only 21 years old.
Yes.
Comes through the Surrey youth system. He's played a bit of Surrey second team, a bit of England under 19s. Scored 103 not out the previous week against Durham University. Is an all-rounder as well. Already taken 11 county championship wickets, including a 6 for 5. So he might be one to watch for the future.
Ooh. Most definitely. And as we spoke about in the preview for the County Championship Division 1, it's not going to be about the big names for Surrey this year. It's going to be about the kind of the first reserves, isn't it? The ones that step up and replace the guys that go off and play for England, whether that's in the World Cup or whether that's in the Ashes. So, yeah, grab your opportunity while it's there at the early season. And if a young fellow like that wants to step up, he might be the next sort of name we're talking about in the next year or 2.
He may well be. And Essex as well, going about their business. Dan Lawrence was the guy that you mentioned on the pre-season podcast. And this guy is pretty damn good. He can go and score runs. 93 for him. And
Yep.
the other point I want to make, Rory Burns 98. Does scoring 98 or scoring 100 matter? To me, yes, it does. And I want to use the example of Alex Hales. So we did a video and it was breaking down the top 15 openers that England have used since Andrew Strauss retired. And Alex Hales was in that list and had a decent record. Yes, he had failures around off stump and the ball coming back into him. But he scored 5 50s, 3 scores above 80 against Sri Lanka. And I am telling you now, if he had gone and scored 200s instead of 5 50s, you would have been looking at a much, much different international record. It really does matter, because when someone picks up the paper and they goes, oh, this guy scored 4 50s, oh, okay. But if he scored 200s and 2 50s, and the 100s were only 100 and 101, you would think highly, highly of that player, as opposed of, oh yeah, he's not a bad player.
Yeah, no, I think you've got a point there as well. And I think you've got to be frustrating as well if it's Rory Burns. He's going to be happy that he scored runs, but he's battered throughout most of the day to make sure getting that draw. And then he does get out just shy of that personal milestone. And when you are, batting and it doesn't seem like there's going to be a result, you want to make sure you get that personal milestone. The game's gone, isn't it? By the time you get to T and beyond, make sure you get to those 3 figures. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit of a disappointing one for him, but at least he is making runs, so it does make that conversation at the top of the order a fraction easier, but a long, long way to go before the Aussies and the white kits come to town.
I like it. Where are we off to next, Rich?
We are going to Yorkshire, lad. Well, we're not
Yorkshire.
actually. We're going to talk about Yorkshire, but we're in Hampshire. Yorkshire, a mammoth total, set up a really, really impressive win here. An innings and 44-run victory over Hampshire. 554 for 7 declared. That's a pretty good score. Gary Balance and Joe Root cannot stop scoring runs. It is ridiculous. Gary Balance, I've said it already, England selectors do not even think about it. I don't care how many runs this bloke's scoring. I do not want him near an England side. But let's put that to one side and let's just really, really say this guy is incredible at a county level. He's got his faults at international level, but this guy just churns out runs. 148 in the first innings. He's already got a century before this. He's scored 256 runs in 3 innings, including 2 centuries, of an average of 128.
Wow. Not bad.
He's not made a bad start to the season. And when we talk about Royal London, Rob, we will talk about another century for Gary Balance shortly as well. Joe Root as well, 94, like we just said about Rory Burns, 94. He's been overshadowed massively by Gary Balance, but Joe Root scored 94. And as we're talking about the top of the run scorers, he is the leading run scorer in the county championship with 297 runs in 3 innings.
That's
just the 100, though.
Good to see.
And 250s. Absolutely. He's averaging 148.5. You know, that's not a bad start to the year.
He's ready. He's ready.
He's ready. He is ready, and this is what we want. So great to see. Jack Leaney is 77 as well, and Johnny Tatchell 52. Johnny Bairstow's wicket-keeping replacement. So huge score. Liam Dawson 3 for 184 off 60 overs. So he's only just gone for 3 and over, but 3 for 184. You don't want to see that bowling card too often, do you? So in response to two responses, we had a 99 from Sam Northeast, who is also one of the leading run scorers so far in this county season. 268 runs at an average of 89. So big runs been scored. Liam Dawson, 57. Liam Dawson is a player that is starting to get a little bit of coverage. He's scoring runs. He's also taking wickets. It's when we get onto the squads and get deeper into it, I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't get a bit more push, let's say, to get him towards that England World Cup squad. You know, he is a batsman who bowls a bowler that bats, whichever way you want to look at him at. So, second innings as well, 92 for Liam Dawson, who we just spoke about, and Keith Barker.
Yeah,
we have to mention him
Keith.
every week. Ex-Rochdale, whatever he was. What was he, Rob? Fullback, centre half?
I think he played on the wing, and I actually think he was at Blackburn, and he was on loan at Rochdale in 2007-ish.
Wow.
I say ish,
Heady.
I'm absolutely spot on, but ish, yeah.
Heady days. So a really impressive victory for Yorkshire. They've had, I don't want to be overly critical, but they've not had the best of it in the last year or so maybe. I think they've certainly got something to kind of fight back with now, haven't they? But it all depends. If Balance can keep scoring those runs, that's great. But obviously they're not going to be having Joe Root for much longer. So who's going to be the other man to step up to score those runs?
Yeah, a great game. Yorkshire just 554. Before I break down a few things, I want to talk about Gary Balance, and Gary Balance was given multiple chances in the Test arena, and he did have some successes, 400, 750s, an average of 37, but he fundamentally struggled against the full delivery with his technique, playing so far deep in the crease. It was a genuine problem he had. Got given multiple opportunities, failed enough to not get into the game. I don't think he's the right guy to come in against Australia. I think he's failed against them before. I just feel like we need to go in a fresh direction. That's not to say that other people are allowed the opinion going, actually, Gary Balance has gone away, he's earned his stripes, he's scored some runs. And Rich, I'm going to break this down. 4th of September, scored 104. 10th of September, scored 85. 24th of September, scored 194. That was to finish the season. And then he started this season off with 101, 148, and then he's just gone and smashed 150 in the List A competition as well. So people can make a case for him, but also who could have a case made for them is one that we talked about on the preview podcast, is Sam North East. Now, this guy, we spoke about him, and he's never lived up to the name that he kind of got for himself when he was a little bit younger, when he had frazzled curly hair. But this year looks to be slightly different, Rich, because this is quite incredible. 118 in pre-season against Oxford, 169 against Essex, 99 against Yorkshire, and he's just gone and scored 100 in List A competition as well. In terms of consistency, you can't look beyond Balance and North East at the moment to be in the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. No criticism of that whatsoever. But it is early days, isn't it? So we can't read too much into it. If they're still churning runs out in another month's time, then conversations are going to carry on, aren't they? One other player, though, the man we just mentioned in there, we've spoke about Joe Root, we spoke about North East, we spoke about Gary Balance. The 4th leading run scorer in county cricket Division 1 is Liam Dawson. 213 runs at an average of 71. 3 half centuries in 3 innings so far for the spinner. That's pretty impressive, and that's not what many people would have expected, I'm sure, at this time of the year.
How does he come into an England side, though? And from a one-day international perspective, you've got Rashid and you've got Moeen Ali as the top two, the big two guys. And then Joe Denley can bowl a few overs of spin thrown in. And then from a Test arena, you've probably got spinners ahead of him. You've got your Jack Leach. He's more of a Moeen Ali like-for-like replacement. I know he's a different bowler, but he bats as well as bowl, so he'll give England that balance if that's what they were looking for. It's
a difficult one. He finds himself in a real tough spot. I don't think there's an obvious place for him anywhere at the moment. I think there was a good shout, but he's more than likely in the conversation with the selectors if they actually did discuss anybody out of their lovely friendly 15. But he had to be in the conversation. How he would get in, perhaps he's a Denley, a like for like with Denley potentially in that squad. But that's something we'll get to as we get closer to the tournament, I'm sure. But it's just worth mentioning, and it's great to see that players are performing at the start of this English summer. We're not going to be having conversations saying, well, who's scoring runs? We're going to be saying, well, all these guys are scoring runs. All these guys are taking wickets. We have a great conversation. We have a real tough one to decide who's going to get a slot. So I'd prefer to be talking about it that way anyway. And you know what? If players who are on form miss out, then that's great, because it just means that the ones that are in have earned it, or at least they should have earned it.
No, I like it. It's a good way to look at it. And last year was such a damp squid with poor wickets at the start of the year. It is good to see boys going out there and banging out some runs.
Amen to that, absolutely. So we get underway now. We go across to Warwickshire, mate. Edgbaston, they got underway with their first game of the season against Kent, and it wasn't quite what they would have wanted. Kent, a convincing 8-wicket win, pretty high scoring affair with this one. Kent's first innings, 108 for youngster Zach Crawley, that's great to see, and Ollie Robinson, not the bowler that we've highlighted, but the wicketkeeper Ollie Robinson, 143. Again, a couple more centurions, it's great to see. The other Ryan Sidebottom got a couple of wickets, probably just worth mentioning. And also Henry Brooks, the guy that our friend Chris speaks about very, very highly, a very, very quick bowler, too, for him as well. In response, Dominic Sibley, 132. That's 5 centuries in a row for Sibley when you actually talk about the warm-up games, etc. So he's on good form. We picked out his colleague Will Rhodes as somebody to potentially look out for, an outside chance of an England opening slot. But Dominic Sibley, there's another one that we toyed with that he might get a chance. He's really he started the season pretty well. A 315 ball century as well. That's a watchful knock, a long knock, and that's what he really looks at that as one of his strengths, doesn't he? So 3 wickets apiece for Podmore, Stevens and Milnes, and I mention that for a reason. They are a kind of an all-round attack with the Seamers at the moment. Podmore 11 at 20, Mitch Claydon 11 at 21, Matt Milnes 10 at 20.9, and Darren Stevens 8 at 24.75. They're sharing it around in the first two games. And we look at a team like Kent who got promoted. How are they going to win games of cricket? Well, if you've got an attack that are all consistently taking wickets at the same time, you get to a point where you really can win games of cricket. So just wrap this one up, Warwickshire followed on and they were 280 all out, which kind of closed the game, well, nearly closed the game off. The only real scorer there, we've got 107 for Tim Ambrose, the wicketkeeper, but also 84 for Henry Brooks. Worth noting that as well, because he is somebody that's got genuine wheels and could get himself in a conversation for England later on in the summer. One to watch. And if he can score runs as well, obviously, even better. Zach Crawley, 45 and out, but then Matt Renshaw, 48 not out, and our friend Daniel Bell Drummond, 18 not out. Got Kent over the line comfortably to get their first win of the year.
Yeah, needed that, eh? They really, really did need to get a victory on the board. I watched Zach Crawley bat for the first time on TV. I'd actually seen him play the other day, and I thought, what a player. What a serious play. Timed the ball so well. He had time. Sometimes you see openers and they look hurried. He definitely didn't look hurried at all. Looked the real deal. Scored 100 in the first-class game against Warwickshire. Against Warwickshire? This was the game against Warwickshire. This was the game against Warwickshire. Sorry. He scored a 50 against Loughborough earlier in the season, 87, as well as scoring a big 75 and 168 at the back end of last year. So I quite like him. Out of the players that I've seen this year, he was one that I've really gone, kid can play.
Yeah, strong through the offside. He timed the ball nicely. Nice. He just got something about him, hasn't he? Is he a relation? Are we talking John Crawley here?
No relation whatsoever, as far as I can see.
He had a Gunnermore. He had the other Gunnermore. They had a Gray Nichols bat, and he's got that little rosy cheeks about him and a bit of blonde hair. He's like, this is too much like John Crawley for my liking.
It could be. Yeah. If he is, Cricinfo needs updating. There's no relation going on there.
Exactly. So Somerset, they finished second 2 years out of the last three, didn't they? They're top with 2 wins at the minute. Yorkshire, Hampshire and Kent all have 1 win from 2s. Notts and Essex, no wins, a loss and a draw apiece for those. Surrey, just with the 1 game played, obviously just with the draw there, the 11 points. And Warwickshire at the bottom with their 1 loss and just the 4 points. So Somerset really coming out of the traps quickly so far this season.
Yep, looking strong, mate. We knew Somerset will be up there. We know Yorkshire are a good team, especially when they're filled with England players. Their biggest goal is when people are away on World Cup duty or they're playing in the Ashes, how do they cope with it?
Exactly. So let's jump over to County Championship Division 2. Rob, let's rattle through this. And this first game is almost like we're still talking about Division 1. Middlesex against Lancashire, the 2 favourites to go up. And what a game this must have been as well. Lancashire, 22 points, beating Middlesex by 7 wickets. Glenn Maxwell. If I said Glenn Maxwell's involved in this, you'd think it'd be with a bat, wouldn't you? But no, it's taken 5 for 40 in the second innings to pretty much clinch a game. Cracking performance from him, really. So Middlesex first innings, let's just quickly look at this for a couple of reasons. Nick Gubbins, he got himself 55. He's up and running, Rob.
Needed that.
Needed it, yeah. Jimmy Anderson, 3 for 41 as well off 21 overs. The man just does it. He just knows what he's doing and he just does it. 5, 6, 7 for Tom Bailey as well, worth mentioning. Big scores in the Lancashire first innings, obviously to set this win up. Hasib Hamid, Rob, 117, churning them out. And Rob Jones, a young fella, he's only 23. He's got a couple of good scores, 84 not out and 103 not out so far in the spring, let's say, the warm-ups. And then he gets himself 122 as well. So big score, 4-2-7, 5 wickets for Tim Murtagh. And the Middlesex second innings, sadly no more runs for Gubbins. He's gone 5 balls. Sam Robson, 63, 51 for Dawid Malan, who's been churning them out. But 5 for 40 for Glenn Maxwell is what's pretty much done it. Lancashire did try and make a little bit hard work of this, though. Keaton Jennings gone for 8. BD Guest, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. He went for 11 at number 3. Glenn Maxwell gone for 5, but it was Hasib Hamid, 13 not out, and Rob Jones, 1 not out. The stars of the first innings that got him over the line. 39 for 3. Big win for Lancashire. That could be, even at this early stage of the season, that could be the difference between them winning the league and going up in second place.
It could well be. And the talking point, Rich, is what we opened the intro with. ex-England international opener makes a case for being called up to the Ashes, and it's Haseeb Hameed, the 22-year-old young prodigy, the youngest opener to ever open for England in India when he made his debut. Got injured, never got back into the team, lost his form, averaged 9 last year. 9! And everyone's like, well, he's done. What's going on? Why is it all wrong? And then he got 183 not out in a Lancashire second-team game at Blackpool last year. Started to try and piece things together. Scored 218 against Loughborough on the 5th of April. 117 in this game, mate. Is this the return of the future England opener?
He's back. There's no other way of saying it, is there? He is clearly back. Whatever the issue was over the last couple of years, I'm delighted that hopefully it is now behind him. It's one of the most bizarre kind of sudden rises, a huge crash, and then he's back, coming back again. There's no in-between with this guy at the moment, is it? He was either scoring runs and getting picked for England, making his test debut, playing pretty well, or it's can't score a run. I don't think he averaged 10, did he, last year? Or if he did, it was only just scraping.
9.71.
Yeah, I mean, there is no in-between with this guy. He needs to do it consistently. We need to see it. At the moment, it's absolutely wonderful to see. Such a talented guy, such a great temperament as well. And to come back from the last couple of years, it just shows you the character of this fella as well. So delighted to see it. And let's long may it continue. Who knows who we'll be talking about when we get to the Ashes. And I'll be honest with you, Haseeb Hameed was not somebody that I thought would be part of the conversation this summer. So more power to him. More
power to him. One guy who you highlight out, Rich, Nick Gubbins. Get him run, scored 100 in pre-season, and then this is his first 50 of the actual county season.
That's it, and we're early start part of the season, so when you're seeing people score a lot of runs and consistently, that's great, but openers will get nicked off early. They will get cleaned up early, won't they? So he is in pretty good nick at the minute. Obviously, he would have liked to have scored a few runs in the second innings as well, but he's there. He's started off. It's not the quickest start, but he's started off with a few runs, so definitely someone to keep an eye on this summer.
And we're not putting Keaton Jennings, because this is a bit of an England Open sort of situation, this. So you've got Sam Robson, ex-England, Nick Gubbins, maybe future England, and then Keaton Jennings and Hameed opening for the other team. So 2 England openers, 3 England openers, 1 potential England opener in the conversation. And you've got to say that Hameed came out trumps. Jennings with a 50, though. Is there a world where Jennings... Is there a world where Keaton Jennings does enough to get back in the England setup?
Dude, I reckon Thanos would have to click his finger a few times just to get through to Keaton Jennings being given another chance for this test side. Absolutely no chance on this planet.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, Keaton Jennings, done and done. It's a good win. It's a good win for Lancashire.
It is a blooming good win for Lancashire. Rob, we are moving across to the Well, it's not the Swalek anymore, is it? We're back to Sophia Gardens. They've lost the sponsor. This is a bizarre game. Match drawn, so you're thinking, whatever. But this was an absolute run fest. Glamorgan, 570 for 8. You're thinking, well, that's a pretty good score, don't you?
It's not bad. It's not bad.
No, it's not. 750 all out is a good score, Rob. That's what Northamptonshire did. This is ridiculous. 3 Centurions for Glamorgan, 121 for Marcus Labuschagne, the Australian. Billy Root on debut for Glamorgan, 126, and 111 for Carlson as well there. So well battered, all you gentlemen. 70 for Chris Cook as well, the wicket-keeper and captain, Rob. So he's got a star and a cross next to his name. I know how much you appreciate that.
I love that. It makes the scoreboard look so good.
When Rob says he loves that, he actually hates that. So in response, well, actually, just before we go to in response, we need to have a look at, is it Rob Keogh? I forget the name of some of these guys. There's so many cricketers, so many county cricketers, we can't remember them all, but Rob Keogh is the correct name. Yeah. He went for 108 off 15 overs at a nice 7.2 and over. But they didn't get destroyed too much, those bowling figures, but we're going to talk about bowling figures in a minute, Rob, and I just want you to run your eyes, as I'm talking about the Northamptonshire batting card, run your eyes across to the Glamorgan bowling card. Yeah. So Ricardo Vasconcelos, the South African, I believe EU carrying passport holder, opening batsman now. He was a young wicketkeeper, but he's now opening the batting for Northamptonshire. 184 he got at the top of the order. Rob Newton, 105. And then Rob Keogh, that man we spoke about, he got himself 150 as well. It's a ridiculous batting card. They batted for 227.3 overs. Yes, 227.3 overs for 750. The game has gone. Rob, is there anything you'd like to talk about that bowling lineup?
Everyone bowled. Every single bloody person, even
Everyone
the person doing the tees came on and had a bowl.
Yes, exactly. The umpire had a bowl. The other square leg had a bowl. Everybody had a bowl. You have a bowl. We have a bowl. Everybody gets a bowl. That's a lot of bowling.
It's an incredible scorecard between the two of them, mate.
It's unreal, isn't it? Brilliant.
Oh, just outstanding. Really, really outstanding. Also, Northamptonshire have Blessing Muzarabani and Jason Holder in that lineup, and they still went for 570. Also, Jason Holder, superb in the West Indies, comes to England, scores single digits and can't get a wicket.
Yeah, I mean, everyone scores single digits, but when you're scoring single digits, when your team's got 750, it's a long old time just sat reading a book or doing whatever you're doing, isn't it? So if you need to catch up on some sleep, that was the day to do it. Obviously, this pitch has not gone down well with the coaches, with the players, etc. Matthew Maynard, he was not impressed at all, but he did think that Northamptonshire got more out of the game than Glamorgan. Alex Wakely, it was a really poor cricket wicket. If you play consistently on that, you're not going to get good games, however you see it. You can't enjoy games like that, and it says it all when our batsmen are scoring runs and still coming off frustrated. Bizarre game, isn't it? Obviously, that's not what you want, Sophia Gardens, and they do have international cricket this year, so yeah, we shall see what they do there.
I'm calling for it, Rich. It's the first time today. I'm calling for it. Umpire watch.
Umpire watch. We need a jingle, Rob.
We do need a jingle for umpire watch, but umpire watch. Guess the umpire. Okay.
Alex Wharf.
No.
I've got the scorecard in front of me, but I'm.
Don't look. Played for England. Played for Somerset. Nicknamed the Black Dog. One test for England. 34 one-day internationals. Could hit a massive cricket ball. Bowled a bit. I think it was slow left arm spin.
A challenging waistline.
A great beard.
A little beard. I know it because I accidentally scrolled down and saw it like an idiot. So I'm not going to ruin it and pretend I knew it. So, but you tell the people
Blackwell is on the circuit.
Blackwell.
I had no idea.
You wouldn't have thought he would become an umpire, would you? He didn't have that. He didn't look like the sort of type that was going to become an umpire.
No, exactly. He looked like the sort of guy that would just retire and enjoy being retired and maybe go play a spot of golf.
Exactly.
I bet he hits a long drive.
He's stood there. He's facing it up. He must have been falling asleep watching that.
Yeah, it's terrible cricket, eh? It's terrible cricket. Hopefully, wherever you're going to take us to next has got a more even contest and a better output of game.
Well, you'd hope so, wouldn't you? We're going to go top of the table. But we are going for another drawn match. Drawn does seem to be the order of the day in Division 2 at the moment. Derbyshire, top of the table. When did you think we'd be saying that? I certainly didn't think it would be this year. They're looking pretty good, aren't they? They're churning some runs out, 291. Tom Lace, 83, top score. 3 wickets for Taylor for Gloucestershire. I'm not even going to worry about his first name. Sorry, Taylor. Take some more wickets. I'll learn your first name. Gareth Roderick, 98. Another avoidance of 100. We'll never really remember this innings because it hasn't got 2 more runs associated with it. He got himself 98 for 350 all out for Gloucestershire. Wickets spread around for Derbyshire, and then a big old response from Derbyshire. 388 for 3 declared, 204 not out for Wayne Madsen. Wow. All he does is score runs, and Alex Hughes 209 not out. So that game obviously just petered out into a draw. But Derbyshire, top of Division 2.
Brilliant. Awesome for Derbyshire cricket. We've been saying for a long time, and on the preview podcast saying how poor Derbyshire, Leicestershire have been over the last probably 15 years, mate. So to see them doing so well is great. And Marsden, he scored a bagload of runs last year, got a PSL contract with Zelmi. I'm butchering a name there, but
Zelmi.
Yes. Yeah. But superb. Absolutely superb. Going and getting a stack load of runs. It's giving his team points as well, They've picked up enough points to be top at this time of the year, but you'd say any other time, Derbyshire will be down near the bottom, and they probably would have got bowled out in the second innings pretty cheaply. So massive improvement from their side.
Yeah, absolutely. And Wayne Madsen, 35, he just keeps churning runs out, doesn't he? Just incredible player. I mean, obviously, 205 in that innings. He's only got 249 runs this season, but he is second leading run scorer behind Dawid Malan of Middlesex, who's got 254. So he's made a real strong start to the year, and they'll need him to just keep churning those runs out. But good to see Alex Hughes as well getting himself a century and sharing the workload a little bit. We're going to go from top to second from top, and that's Leicestershire. They were hosting Worcestershire. And I believe this was Worcestershire's first game of the season, wasn't it? Yes, it was. And they got themselves off to a cracking start. This one is a bit of a strange one as well. Worcestershire, 553 for 6 declared. That's hitting the ground running. Daryl Mitchell, 114. Hamish Rutherford, Rob, there's a bit to say about him in a minute, 123. Ricky Vessels on debut across from Nottinghamshire, 43. 49 for Whiteley, and Ben Cox, 100 not out, the wicket-keeper captain, a man that I'm liking more and more. Ed Barnard with 53 not out as well. Wickets shared around, and then Leicestershire's first innings, 69 for Atiq Javid at the top of the innings, 67 for Cosgrove. With not much to talk about there. And then again, following on, 54 for Hassan Azad, ex-Notts youngster, and Colin Ackerman, 69, 57 for Tom Taylor. A bit of a disappointing one, but I've got to just pick this man out as well. A remodelled action. He's had a bit of a rough ride of it, but Charlie Morris for Worcestershire, 7 for 45 off 19.3 overs. Brilliant performance from him. He's 26. He's only twice taken 5 wicket hauls, but that was his best figures in first-class cricket. A remodelled action. It's almost like a new cricketer for him. So a really, really good start for Worcestershire, and they'll be hoping to take that into the white ball cricket.
Good on him. I'm going to pick the bones out of the Hamish Rutherford conversation here. So when we did the preview, we were talking about Division 2, and we said that, Ross Taylor's coming across. Yeah, that's great. Black Caps. Woo, Black Caps. Hamish Rutherford's coming over. And I made a call of going, you can't use those two players in the same conversation. They're just,
Who said that?
Apparently me. I can't remember saying it. It's just one of those things. But Hamish Rutherford, averaged 3 in one-day international cricket, averaged 27 in Test match cricket. He's got a 36 and a 35 average comparably in first-class cricket. But he's hit the ground running in England like there's no tomorrow, and it's obviously good coming from New Zealand, where there are similarities between the wickets. There are a heap of difference, trust me, but there are similarities. And he's coming in, and he's just gone, you know what, I've heard your comments, Bobby, and I raise you, and I will go and score 123 against your beloved Leicestershire, who you've said are going to have a better season, and I'm going to ensure that they go and lose by an innings. And he's followed it up and gone and scored 100 in List A cricket as well, so more power to Hamish Rutherford. No chance of a Black Caps call-up. Trust me, no chance of a Black Caps call-up, I don't think. But stranger things have happened.
Exactly, you'd never know. But clearly we were not giving the man enough respect. Now, there's a damn good reason they signed him. And like we said, I think Ben Cox had been playing some cricket over the winter, or at least the English winter, with Hamish Rutherford. So he obviously saw it. So Ben Cox, forget about him being captain and wicketkeeper, centurion and all the rest of it. He should also get himself on a selection panel somewhere as well, because the man clearly knows what he's talking about. I'm giving him full credit for the Hamish Rutherford signing.
Yeah, why the hell not? Head of selection, head of scouting, head of transfers. He's a man that does it all. But overarching this, Rich, the poorness is it's the Leicester performance that we've seen time and time again over the last few years, which is why they're perennial right near the bottom. If they were relegated, they wouldn't have been able to go down any further. They've been that poor over recent years, and week 1 gave some hope. But week 2 has kind of solidified, there's still work to do with this team and the level of consistency that they need to go and achieve to not finish right near the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we keep talking about, and obviously there's one more game just to wrap up, but we keep talking about Lancashire, Middlesex, we'd expect. Lancashire, the only unbeaten, Worcestershire, I'm sorry, should I say, Worcestershire and Lancashire, the only unbeaten sides so far. It's going to be a real, I feel like it's going to be an inconsistent league this year. Anybody could beat anyone. Hopefully you would imagine one or two will rise to the top, as in, we expect Lancashire, but Middlesex have lost one and drawn one. It's going to be a strange one. It's great to see Derbyshire and Leicestershire at the top. Sussex are in 4th place behind Worcestershire, who are 3rd. And they're there because they got themselves a win at Chester Street against Durham side that has really, really found life tough, haven't they, in the last couple of years since their relegation since they lost a heck of a lot of players. They could put almost an 11 out of the players that they've lost, and that would be a pretty good 11. So Durham batted first, 2-2-4 all out. They keep getting themselves in situations where they are, they potentially could score bigger. Players are making starts, but they're just not quite going off. Cam Bancroft did get 33 on debut as captain at batting at number 3. He also has done pretty well in List A, which we'll talk about shortly. 4 for 53 for Ollie Robinson, the other Ollie Robinson. He's done pretty well. And Chris Jordan just recently selected to the England ODI squad to play against Ireland. Outside chance of a World Cup spot for him. He got 3 for 38. Sussex, though, they're just 202 all out. A bit of a strange innings, this one. Sussex had been taken down, I believe, to 71 for 7. But Luke Wells, 98 not out. He absolutely just held this innings together. Sticky tape batsman, that man. 202 all out, Coke got him to, which is a massive score when you consider a 7 for 71. 4 for 41 for Chris Rushworth. That man has been around forever, it would seem. Durham, in response, it was a real opportunity for them to really, really get on top in this game. But apart from Gareth Hart's 74 not out, it was really a poor performance. 189 all out, 5 for 43 for David Weiser, who played magnificently. But it was all about Steen van Zyl, the South African. 101, Rob, not out to really, really get this game over the line on the 4th and final day. He's just signed himself a new contract. I think he missed a bit of time last year for injury. Unbelievable effort from him. Luke Wells really set this one up, but it was all about Van Zyl in that final innings to confirm the win for them.
Yeah, good win as well, mate. Very, very good win. Umpired by Russell Warren. I'm throwing that name back in there again. Awesome. The one that I want to touch on is Luke Wells, 28 years old. And he's playing down at Sussex. Well, who else played down at Sussex, Ricks? Alan Wells. Let me get it right, not Alex. Alan Wells, his father. Now,
is that right?
Famous. I can remember Alan Wells. I can remember watching this as a kid. I was looking at the date, 1995. I was 10 years old. And he played one test match against the West Indies. Out first ball on debut. Curtly Ambrose, short one, into him, caught at short leg. Made 3 not out in the second innings and never played for England again.
I don't know where to go with that. I can't remember that at all, obviously. But getting out first ball on debut, can you imagine? Just thought it's so exciting.
You'd be heartbroken.
Mum and Dad's there.
Yeah, exactly. Generations and generations. But it's one of those memories that stick out for me. Really, really solid. I can remember where I was, what I was doing. Oh yeah, new debut player. Yeah, we're going to beat the West. Oh no, he's out first ball. Don't worry about it.
Next.
Yeah, Durham just they've got a lot of hard work ahead of them. I do quite like some of their batting lineup, but I'm not sold on the overall top 6 being quite good enough. They're going to have to rely on a really good bowling attack of Whale and Rushworth to really try and get the wickets. But they've got a lot of hard work this year. I don't think they're going to be in the contention for promotion. I don't think they're that strong.
No, definitely not, Rob. No, I mean, 2 games, 2 defeats, 7 points. They're firmly at the bottom of the table, and I think that's where they're going to stay. But they've got a chance now. They're playing some white ball cricket. Maybe this is what they need. Free the arms. It's the batsmen that need to really get going, isn't it? We'll talk about it in a minute, but Cam Bancroft, he's going to be so important for them, and he's already in the runs in that as well. The bowling is there. The bowling should be able to bowl teams out. They are very, very close at the minute. 71 for 7. All it would have taken was maybe a little bit of luck, maybe a catch sticking, maybe whatever it might be, or a decision going their way, and they could have had Sussex all out for 100 and they win this game, and it's a totally different conversation. So because they've got that bowling lineup, a bit like what we spoke about Kent, they've got every chance of winning games of cricket. They've just got to get a couple of these batters to really step up and make a name for themselves. They do. It's not Ben Stokes' job this season. It's not Mark Wood's job this season. They're probably going to be playing a lot of cricket with England. Who's it going to be? Someone's got to step up and become the next whoever is not at Durham anymore.
That's a great point. It's always an opportunity, Rich. So other than Durham being bottom of the table, well, what does it mean for the top of the table?
It means, like I said, that Leicestershire are second to Derbyshire. Wow. And I think that's all you need to know. Worcestershire, Lancashire. It's too tight to mention at the minute. It's almost like we're not going to look at the league table till Easter or until Christmas or whatever we're saying the football season.
I think you're right, Rich. It is hard to tell early season. Durham will just be disappointed with where they sit. They've not looked good in the finish, and they are bottom. Leicestershire's the one. They are in second, but like I've said, they just need a level of consistency over a period of time to really solidify them. Because your Warwickshire, your Lancashires, your Middlesexes, they're going to be there or bats come the end of the season because they're that good and they've got depth. But for all the red ball cricket, Rich, we've spoken about 2 weeks of it, and it's almost like you've had the little drug in your veins, and it's like, yes, red ball cricket, it's summer, and then they've gone, right, it's white ball time.
Yeah, forget about it now. We're not going to see it back now, Rob, until the 14th of May. That's the next time we're going to dust off the white trousers and we're going to get some red ball cricket going. It is now firmly the Royal London Cup competition time. We're also, obviously, as we go a little bit forward, we're going to start seeing Pakistan come across. We're going to see some warm-up games. We're going to be seeing Ireland against England in the start of May. So a lot of cricket coming up, but we are definitely not seeing any more red ball for a little while now. So let's keep it... let's have a little look at what's gone on so far. We've just seen one sort of round of games, if you like. And let's keep it Durham. You know, we were saying that maybe what they need is some white ball cricket to free those arms. Well, that's what we got. That's what we saw. 151 for Cam Bancroft, who is also the captain wicketkeeper. It's the year of the captain wicketkeeper. He got 151 not out, 130 balls, helping him to get to 342 for 5 of 102 for Michael Richardson. Wickets shared for Northamptonshire, and then Northamptonshire nowhere near. 270 all out, 86 for Jason Holder in response. Alex Wakely, the captain, 66, along with Holder got a couple of wickets as well. And you know, wickets shared around for Durham. So it was good to see them get up and running. And Matthew James Potts with the wickets, 4 for 62 for Durham to get them up and running with a win. So that'll do them the world of good.
Yeah, hell of a score. 340 is always hard to chase. If you're chasing 300, you still fancy your chances of being able to go about your business pretty good and be in a position as long as you've got wickets in hand. But here, Northamptonshire lost too many wickets too early. Salisbury with 3 wickets early doors ripped apart that top order, mate, and it left too much. Rosington did all right, Wakely did all right. The Jason Holder that we know and love, 86 off 68 balls, got him going, but it's just it's too much to go when you're already 4 or 5 wickets down, mate.
Yeah, definitely. And what we saw as well, every single home team got a result in this first round as well. So that was just a strange little interesting point there. And moving across to apart from this game, I meant to say. I knew where I was going with that, but I obviously just stopped. I knew where I was going with it. So, yes, Worcestershire beat Lancashire. This was a good one as well. And the reason I've just got flummoxed by this one as well is Hamish Rutherford got 108 at the top of the order.
Can't stop scoring runs.
101 for Darryl Mitchell and 72 for Ricky Vessels. He's going to be a great signing for Worcestershire, and I'm sure they're going to enjoy what he does for them. 5 for 51 for Matt Parkinson. That's great to see him back, a little leggy. And Saki Mahmood at bowling as well, opening the bowling with Jimmy Anderson bowling some white ball down at the other end. So that's an interesting one. Maybe Jimmy feels like he's still got a World Cup in him. Who knows? Lots of bits and pieces scores for Lancashire in response, but nobody went on to make that big one. Jennings, 54. Come on, make the big score. But he did top score. Glenn Maxwell, 35 off 21. I'm sure the crowd was thinking it's all about him, but then he got himself out. Yeah, great win for Worcestershire. They had an unbelievable summer last year, really, didn't they? Promotion. They won the T20. They also were semi-finalists. Kent beat them, Kent ended up being runners-up to Hampshire, who beat Yorkshire to get through to the final. So, you know, who knows? Worcestershire, they'll be expecting another good season with the white ball, I'm sure.
Yeah, good bowling attack for white ball cricket with the likes of Wayne Parnell in there as well, mate, and Ed Barnard. Very, very good white ball bowlers. I'm going to be a bit of a bully here, and I don't like saying that, but Lancashire were behind the 8 ball this whole innings. They're chasing 3-6-7, mate. So you're talking 7 and a bit and over. But when Keaton Jennings was out, they were still going at 5 and over, and he chewed up 60 balls for his 54. And now that's all good. You can take balls at the top of the innings if you go on and get a score and you're able to accelerate. But he just didn't. And the same with Guest at number 3. 42 balls, 36 runs. They're behind the 8 ball, and you're leaving too much for the likes of Maxwell and Dwayne Villas, who are good enough to do it, but they can't do it every time. You need to give them a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really interesting to see some of these teams that have made the start as well, just to see who's going to be in the race, isn't it? And I think Worcestershire are definitely going to be up there. One of the favourites, I think. I'm just looking at it. Hampshire, who won last year, they're the bookies' favourites at the minute. Yorkshire and Notts kind of looking joint second favourites. Essex are there, along with Somerset and Worcestershire, and then Surrey. So it's quite interesting to see who the bookies are going to be looking towards, who might be the team that take this tournament. I think we're in uncharted territory there, because this competition is going to be played throughout May. and into throughout May, isn't it? And the end of April. And the final is going to be played on the 25th of May. Now, that's just a couple of championship games in between the semi-finals, which is the 12th of May. So we don't really know what to expect with this competition. It's so going to be dictated to by the weather and performances and whatnot. It's just not a typical English summer, is it? So we're learning as we go here with how these competitions are going to run. But anyway, we'll move on from Worcestershire, but that is a cracking start for them. Yorkshire, Rob, more runs being scored by the same people. Gary Balance, he's only gone and got himself 156, batting at 5, along with youngster Harry Brook, 103 at number 4 for him. Johnny Tatchell with a 50 as well. It's ridiculous the amount of runs that have been scored so far this season. 166 all out in response for Leicestershire, not what they would have wanted. 5 for 29 for recent signing from Yorkshire, Matt Pillans, who came across from Surrey. A convincing 213-run win for Yorkshire, and they will definitely, I think, live up to the tag of one of the favourites.
The Gary Balance show continues. It's the summer of balance, Rich. That's what it is.
There is no balance.
There is no balance. Also, youngster Harry Brook getting a century and getting the opportunity to bat at number 4 is pretty good. Interesting, David Willey was involved in this. He got 2 for 26 opening the bowling and 8 batting at number 3. You forget that he's one of those guys that can be bumped up the order and give it a little bit of a clobber.
He will, yeah, and he certainly needs to make sure that he performs at the moment. He obviously had to cut short IPL for personal reasons, and I would say that his is the place that's probably most at risk from a certain Jofra Archer.
I'd say so.
Yeah, absolutely. So, right, Essex, Rob, we are out in Glamorgan. So, you know what I said earlier?
Every home team won.
Total nonsense.
Except 2 of them.
I think what it was on the first day, was it 4 out of 4 home teams won, and then there's a couple of other games played it another day. So, let's not worry about it. If you want accuracy, get yourself on Cricket Info. But Essex, massive win here, 180. They gave Glamorgan a proper good spanking, I think we could say. Varun Chopra, second highest run scorer in last year's competition with 528. He got himself up and running early with 111. 56 for Dan Lawrence, great to see him in the runs. Tom Wesley, 69, and Alistair Cook, 40. Come on, Cookie, yes. We want more. In response, Glamorgan, 146. Yeah, that's not what we want to see from them, is it? So nothing to write home about from them. Wickets shared about for Essex, and not much more to say from that. Dominating performance there to open things up for Essex.
That bowling attack for Essex, mate, is legit. Porter, Cook, Siddle, Bapara and Harmer. There's 50 overs, mate. Try and see how many you can score against that. That is...
Yep.
They could be a really good shout for this competition. Chopper, superb. Alistair Cook, Sir Alistair Cook, not bad. Wesley, ex-England. Lawrence on a charge. Bapara, great one-day cricketer. Tendaskada hits a long ball. They've seriously got a really, really strong 11.
Yeah, strong at home as well. They've got a lot going in their favour, haven't they? And that bowling attack even. Yeah, Jamie Porter, little chef, Cook as well. I love that guy. Lot to be said for them as a team, aren't they? So bring it on. This competition is just going to get warmed up, isn't it? It's just going to get going, and it's going to be bizarre that it's going to be finished by the time June gets around. But what do we know? What do we know about cricket? I mean, they're not even going to bother with it next year, are they? Isn't it going to be like a development competition next season because of the 100?
It is, yeah. It's a little bit awkward.
Let's not go down that road just now. Let's just enjoy the cricket, and let's enjoy a Gloucestershire win here. 235 in their first innings, which is nice.
It's okay. You could chase it.
Yeah, Gareth Roderick, 74. It's an old school score, isn't it? 235 all out, 47.5 overs. Yeah. Against Surrey, you're thinking, well, Surrey, bang on, they're winning this game of cricket, not a problem.
Yeah, Roy Stoneman, Jacks, Burns, Folkes, Pope, Curran, Plunkett.
All out.
Wow. What the hell happened?
I think I saw someone say you got to get one of these out early. Best to have these days early on in the year.
You've got to get one of these boys out. Benny Howe with a wicket. Smithy, 3 for 7 off 2. Cleans up the tail, comes on, big Tom Smith.
That is, yeah, you'll take that, wouldn't you? So, yeah, Dan Worrell as well. It's good to see him back. The Aussie, 2 for 22 as well. Just dominating. I mean, you don't expect to see that. And I don't think we can read much more into that other than it was just a bad day at the office. And I'm sure Surrey will be, if they're going to have one of them days, get it out of the way early. And after that, they can go on a roll. And I'm sure I'd expect them to do that. As for Gloucestershire, decent start, but not particularly convincing with the bat, but pretty convincing with the ball.
Yep, very convincing. One thing that you touched on was all home teams winning. I think what you wanted to say was all teams batting first won.
Is that what it was? The
all teams batting first.
You forcing me to stay a bit late, Rob, with stupid time zones. So yes, I believe that is what I was going to say. I knew there was something relevant, and that's what it is. I'm the idiot.
Final game then, Rich, that's been played, and I watched this one last night. Hampshire versus Kent.
Exactly. And what is this? This is a rerun of last year's final. And Hampshire once again came out on top against Kent. 90-run victory. Hampshire 310 for 9 as first innings. 105 not out for Sam North East. He's continued his run. James Vince 56 at number 3. He'll be happy about that. He's not really scored any runs so far. I think he's got about 56 runs or something like that so far in the 2 championship games. So he'll be pleased about that. Riley Russo, 55 as well. 5 for 79, though, for a certain Matt Milnes. We are delighted with the way this guy has taken to his Kent career. Nottinghamshire player. He dipped his toe in Newark Cricket Club for about 2 minutes. Had a really good career locally for Plumtree. We just hope for nothing other than the best for this guy. 5 for 79 in his list day debut. He's got 10 wickets already in the county championship. Really, really pleased to see how well he's doing. In response, his Kent team, 220 all out off just 40 overs. So he'll be very disappointed with that. He did get himself a little 26 at the end. And not much more to talk about. Zach Crawley, 49, was looking pretty good. Daniel Bell-Drummond's not quite hit his straps yet this year. And lots of in-between and starts as we go through the order. Good team performance as well with the ball. Liam Dawson, Kyle Abbott and Chris Wood, all 2 wickets apiece. So good win. Sam North East, unsurprisingly, man of the match. Hampshire, probably the favourites to win this competition again. They've got up and running with a win. Do you look past Hampshire again, Rob?
I don't think you can at the moment, mate. Top 6 looks pretty good. Liam Dawson, he didn't perform that well in this game, but he's getting runs. Sam North East is getting runs. They're going to be in the conversation, I think, is what you need to take away from it, mate. Matt Milnes, superb. Bowled really, really well until the last couple of overs where they just got hold of him slightly. But 5 for on debut is an incredible record. Also, the man has been working out. He's got guns for days. The Kent innings was a strange one. They got off to a poor start. Daniel Bell-Drummond, leading edge, cricket podcast, he got out with the leading edge. Renshaw failing. And now it came down to Zach Crawley, who was batting superbly. He drove one straight. Heino Kuhn straight off Abbott's hand onto the stumps at the non-strikers end. So he was out for two balls he only faced. And then the other one was Zach Crawley's run out. He was batting superbly, got to 49 and literally ran himself out. Started running down the pitch when there was never a single, got sent back, and a direct hit, and he's on his way. So those 2 key things really changed the context of the game. But the bowling attack is pretty good. Dawson and Crane and Abbott, it's a very, very good Hampshire team again.
Yeah, absolutely. So, they're definitely deserving of a spot as one of the favourites in this competition, and we will see how it all shakes out. More games coming, I'm sure, over this weekend. We have a full list almost tomorrow, actually. Well, we've certainly got 8 games anyway, so pick of that. Nottinghamshire against Lancashire at Trent Bridge. That could be an absolute cracker.
So it's a hell of a card coming up, Rich. White ball cricket is legit. It's going to be around till the start of the World Cup, and then we've got the World Cup. There's so much cricket coming in, so the next time we're going to be around and we're going to sit here talking cricket is going to be discussing some of the World Cup squads which have just been announced. So that is something to make sure you subscribe for in the future. Rich, anything else you want to talk about today?
No, not at all. I'm going to hold on to my Jofra Archer, and then we'll get stuck into it when we talk about the squads. Yes, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? We're just starting to warm up. This summer's just starting to get here. The sun's coming out. It's cricket season, buddy. It's cricket season.
Cricket season is always good, as is the Leading Edge Cricket Podcast. Make sure you subscribe. Apple, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you listen, boys. You've been legends. Till next time.